The night the blue butterfly first appeared, the world seemed to pause, caught on a single suspended breath. High above the neon-drenched city, a soft glow shimmered through the misty air, delicate wings flickering like tiny shards of sapphire under the moonlight. No one knew where it came from. No one knew what it meant. But for Xiao Zhan and Wang Yibo, it marked the beginning of a story that would unravel destiny itself. Xiao Zhan stood alone on the rooftop of the abandoned observatory, the cold wind brushing past his hair as if whispering secrets only the stars dared keep. He wasn't expecting company. He wasn't expecting change. Yet the butterfly hovered before him, fluttering with a strange rhythmic pulse, as if alive with a message. When it landed gently on his palm, a rush of warmth surged through his veins, and the world around him fractured like glass, reshaping itself into something unfamiliar, something electric. Far across the city, amidst the roaring engines of the underground motorcycle tracks, Wang Yibo felt it too. A jolt, sudden and sharp, as if someone had reached across an invisible plane and tugged at the very strings of his soul. He skidded to a halt, his bike screeching against the pavement, his breath stolen by the overwhelming sensation that something or someone was calling him. The night around him swirled, fading for a brief heartbeat into a canvas of blue sparks before settling back into shadow. They didn't know each other yet, but their fates had already collided. The following morning, Xiao Zhan walked through the city streets feeling a strange weight in his chest. Everything looked the same. Familiar buildings, familiar crowds, yet something was distinctly, unnervingly different. As he paused at a crosswalk, he caught sight of a mural he had never seen before. Two figures intertwined in a storm of blue butterflies, their silhouettes glowing eerily under the early sunlight. And though he couldn't explain why, he felt drawn to it, like an echo of a memory he hadn't lived. Wang Yibo walked past the same mural moments later, his helmet hanging loosely from his fingers. He stopped in his tracks, narrowing his eyes at the artwork. Something tugged at him, a pull deep enough to unsteady him. Who were the figures? Why did his chest tighten just looking at them? And why did the vibrant butterflies look exactly like the ones that had flickered inside his vision the night before? Neither noticed the other. Not yet. But fate was impatient. That evening, as rain began to fall in hushed whispers, the city lights reflecting like melted stars on the wet pavement, Xiao Zhan wandered into a narrow alley chasing the faint blue glow he had seen drifting through the shadows. The butterfly, the same one he could feel it, floated slowly ahead, guiding him deeper until he reached a forgotten courtyard. Lanterns swayed softly overhead, though no wind stirred. At the center stood Wang Yibo. Their eyes met, and the world trembled. A blinding flash surged between them, not violent but powerful, like two frequencies finally syncing after years of searching. The raindrops froze mid-air, hanging like suspended crystal. The lantern light swirled into spirals of blue. Time itself bent, kneeling before the force that activated when they came face to face. Then boom, everything released. The courtyard returned to stillness. The rain fell again, but nothing between them was the same. You? Wang Yibo breathed, unable to find the words. I know, Xiao Zhan whispered back, though he didn't understand either. The blue butterfly circled them once before dissolving into a burst of light that wrapped around their hands like an unspoken bond. Something extraordinary had happened. Something neither could explain. The next days were filled with signs. A street where they passed together would shift. Colors would brighten. Plants would bloom unnaturally. Music from distant shops would sync perfectly with their footsteps. Strangers they brushed past suddenly remembered forgotten dreams. Time occasionally skipped, repeating seconds like a broken but beautiful melody. It was as though their presence together awakened dormant patterns hidden within the universe. The blue butterfly effect had begun. But not all changes were gentle. One night, as they stood on a quiet bridge overlooking the river, a sudden gust of icy wind flooded the air. The moon flickered, literally flickered, as if struggling to hold its shape. The water below them rippled in unnatural spirals, glowing faintly with blue light. What's happening? Xiao Zhan asked, grabbing the railing to steady himself. It's us, Wang Yibo said, his voice low but steady. Or what we're connected to. The blue butterflies appeared again, dozens of them, swirling around the pair in frantic patterns. They weren't peaceful this time. They were warning them. Before either could react, a crack split across the sky, a fracture of pure light, and from it emerged a figure shrouded in shadows, its form distorted and flickering. Its voice echoed across the river, metallic and cold. "You have awakened the convergence," it said. "The world is destabilizing." Neither Xiao Zhan nor Wang Yibo moved, though their hearts pounded in sync. "Why us?" Xiao Zhan asked quietly. "Because your souls were never meant to separate," the entity replied. "Together you carry the dormant equation that binds reality. But balance was broken long ago. The butterfly chose you to restore it." Wang Yibo stepped forward, fists clenched. "And if we refuse?" The entity's silhouette twisted, its presence pressing against the air like a crushing weight. "Then the world will collapse." The sky darkened instantly, clouds swirling into a vortex. The river roared as waves rose unnaturally high, crashing against the banks. The bridge beneath their feet shook. But Xiao Zhan reached for Wang Yibo's hand. Their fingers intertwined, naturally, instinctively, and the vortex slowed, softening as if soothed by the simple act of connection. The entity recoiled. "It's already happening," it hissed. "Your bond is rewriting the collapse." And then it disappeared into the crack, the sky sealing itself as if nothing had happened. From that moment on, nothing about their journey was calm. Reality shifted unpredictably. Trees that were green in the morning turned icy blue by afternoon. Winds hummed melodies that matched their heartbeat tempo. Birds flew in synchronized spirals overhead, painting patterns like coded messages. People around them began experiencing flashes, memories of events they had never lived, futures that hadn't happened yet. Xiao Zhan and Wang Yibo weren't just affecting the world. They were rewriting it. In the midst of this unraveling beauty and chaos, their own connection deepened, not as a romance forced by destiny but as an understanding forged by shared responsibility. They trained together in abandoned temples where butterflies guided them through illusions. They learned to channel the pulsating energy that stirred when they touched, a power capable of healing fractures in reality or tearing open new ones. But every gift had a cost. The more they used their abilities, the more the shadows returned, distortions of the entity they first encountered, multiplying, slithering through cracks in the air. They weren't attacking, not yet. They were watching, waiting, feeding on the instability. The city had changed, but not entirely. Neon lights reflected a little differently on the wet streets, shadows moved with a new rhythm, and the faint hum of energy lingered in the air, residual traces of the butterfly's light. Xiao Zhan and Wang Yibo walked through the quiet streets, hands still intertwined, feeling a strange exhilaration. The world seemed more alive, more attuned to their presence. Every ripple of air, every flicker of light, even the distant honking of cars felt like a note in a symphony composed just for them. They arrived at a deserted park, where the fountains had frozen mid-splash, droplets suspended in the air like liquid crystal. A soft wind carried petals from the trees, painting streaks of rose and gold against the neon reflections of the cityscape. Xiao Zhan stopped and looked around, eyes wide. "Do you feel it?" he asked. "It's like the world is holding its breath for us." Wang Yibo nodded slowly. "It's still adjusting, like it's learning from us, or responding." A sudden movement caught their attention. Hundreds of blue butterflies swarmed around a nearby pond, their luminescence pulsing in rhythm with the heartbeat of the city. Each wing beat created a faint ripple on the water, transforming the surface into a living mirror that reflected not only their images but fragments of possibilities, their past, present, and infinite futures. Xiao Zhan stepped closer, mesmerized. "It's beautiful, and dangerous." Yibo's eyes followed him. "Every time we come together, something shifts. We can feel it, can't we? The air, the light, reality itself." They reached the pond together, leaning over the water. In its reflection they saw themselves, not just as they were, but versions of themselves intertwined in endless scenarios. In one, they were laughing under falling snow. In another, they were standing on a rooftop amidst a storm, sharing a look that could stop time. In yet another, they were racing through alleys, chasing the butterfly as it led them to some unseen destiny. Xiao Zhan's hand hovered over the water. "We're changing things," he whispered. "Do you realize that?" Yibo's gaze locked with his. "I do. And we're not alone. The butterfly chose us for a reason. Every choice we make, every step we take, ripples across the city, across time." Suddenly, a gust of wind swept through the park, carrying whispers of distant voices. Shadows twisted around the tree trunks, forming fleeting figures that disappeared when looked at directly. The energy was growing stronger, more volatile, as if the world itself was testing their limits. Xiao Zhan stepped back instinctively. "We need to be careful. If this power gets out of control." Yibo grabbed his arm, steadying him. "Then we control it together. That's why it's us. We balance each other." The blue butterflies swirled faster, forming a vortex that rose into the night sky. Xiao Zhan and Yibo felt their hands being tugged by an invisible current, the ground beneath their feet vibrating with energy. Without thinking, they held each other tighter, closing their eyes, letting the power flow through them. When they opened their eyes, the park had transformed. Trees shimmered with silver veins of light, flowers glowed faintly under the moon, and the pond reflected not only the city but entire landscapes of unknown worlds. Mountains floating in skies, rivers glowing with neon currents, skies filled with auroras of impossible colors. Xiao Zhan's breath caught. "Where are we?" "Somewhere between possibilities," Yibo said softly. "Somewhere the butterfly wanted us to see." The vortex of butterflies condensed into a single luminous figure, a humanoid silhouette radiating energy. Its presence was neither threatening nor entirely welcoming. Xiao Zhan and Yibo instinctively stepped closer, sensing the pulse of universal consciousness emanating from it. "You have altered the balance," the figure spoke in a voice that resonated deep in their bones. "The world is fragile. Every ripple you create has consequences. But you are uniquely equipped to navigate them." Xiao Zhan swallowed. "Consequences? What do you mean?" The figure's wings, like those of a giant ethereal butterfly, opened, revealing patterns of light that twisted like galaxies. "Every interaction, every choice, every touch of yours affects countless lives. Your bond amplifies the effects. You can heal, you can destroy, and the line between the two is narrow." Yibo's grip on Xiao Zhan's hand tightened. "Then we do it together. Always together." The figure's glow intensified, sending a wave through the park. The city beyond trembled briefly, buildings flickering, lights pulsing in response. And then, just as suddenly, the energy calmed. The figure slowly dissipated into a swarm of butterflies, scattering into the night sky. Xiao Zhan exhaled, leaning against Yibo. "That was insane." Yibo laughed softly, a sound that blended relief and awe. "Yeah, but it's ours. All of it. Every shift, every ripple. It belongs to us now." For the next hours, they wandered the transformed park, learning how their presence shaped the surroundings. Flowers bent toward them, puddles reflected visions of alternate realities, and the air itself seemed to respond to their emotions. They laughed, they argued playfully, they tested the limits of their bond, each moment electric with possibility. As dawn approached, the city returned gradually to its normal rhythm, but subtle changes remained. Streetlights glowed in a soft blue hue, leaves shimmered faintly, and distant windows reflected shapes that weren't quite real. Xiao Zhan and Yibo stood on the edge of the park, watching as the last butterflies disappeared into the morning light. Xiao Zhan turned to Yibo, eyes serious. "This power. It's incredible, but it's also a responsibility. We have to be careful." Yibo nodded, his fingers brushing Xiao Zhan's. "We will. Together. Whatever comes, we face it as one. That's the point of the blue butterfly effect. It's not just about change. It's about connection." Xiao Zhan smiled, a quiet warmth spreading through his chest. Connection, he repeated. I like that. It feels right. Yibo's smile mirrored his, and for a long moment, the world felt still, perfect, suspended in the magic of possibility. The camera of your imagination zooms out, capturing the pair from above as the first rays of sunlight pierce through the misty city. The blue butterflies have gone, but their essence lingers, leaving faint trails in the air. A promise that the effects of this night will ripple outward, shaping not just their fate but the world itself. And to everyone watching this story unfold on your screen, remember that the blue butterfly effect is not just fiction. It's about the choices we make, the bonds we hold, and the ripples we create. Like Xiao Zhan and Wang Yibo, every step, every connection, every moment carries power. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like, share, and comment your thoughts below. Let us know what you think will happen next. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss the next episode of this breathtaking journey. Together, we'll follow the butterflies and see where destiny leads. If you want, I can also create a matching YouTube thumbnail concept, title, description, and hashtags optimized to attract clicks and engagement for this continuation.